Raw 4 TV. Too Raw 4 TV. What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw 4 TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. All right, so let's get to this. So, Monte Ellis, of course, for a stretch in the NBA, was one of the high scoring guards in the NBA, and he was a backcourt teammate of Steph Curry during Steph Curry's early years in the league. And I think he was there as his backcourt teammate from 2009 to about maybe 2012-ish or something. But ultimately, he was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. And if I remember correctly, I think it was Milwaukee Bucks. And he was replaced by Klay Thompson. And also in that draft year, that's when they also drafted Draymond Green, Derek Lee, who had been an all-star prior to 2012, started having injury issues. He was replaced in the lineup by Draymond Green. And the Golden State Warriors, as we know them, came to fruition. Also signing, Iggy and had some other pieces, and the rest is history. But Monte Ellis said in a recent interview, I think it was with the Out the Mud podcast, the one with Tony Allen. He said that if you switch Steph Curry with him, that he would have won just as many championships as Steph Curry did. And let me say this, man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Monte Ellis. He was no bum. Young people that don't know him, at one point in time, he was actually considered the stronger of the two because Steph at the early part of his career dealing with ankle injuries, which did threaten his career at one point in time, as far as him being having longevity. Monte Ellis was generally the higher scorer of the two. He would average like 23, 24, 25, while Steph was averaging more around 17, 18, 19 at that point. And you can make the argument Monte was a little bit more dynamic. He was definitely the better defensive player at that time. So I don't want to make it seem like Monte was a bum. No. However, Monte Ellis is also the same dude that said that the only difference between him and Dwayne Wade is championships, and that basically he's the same player. So you got to take Monte Ellis with a grain of salt when he says things like this. Let me tell you something. They would not have won the same amount of championships. Number one, Monte Ellis was not a great outside shooter. Okay, and one of the things that made Steph so revolutionary and made Steph so dangerous is the fact that with Steph Curry, you have to worry about him from essentially half court on in. He stretches out the defense so much that defenses aren't really able to load on other guys. They have to be so concerned with Steph that it makes other guys such potent offensive weapons because defenses have to worry so much about him. He's stretching the defense out to the point where help defense is not even an advantage, really. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it could be a disadvantage if you're committing too much on Curry, and then saying you have a guy like Klay Thompson getting off, or when he joined the team, Kevin Durant. Teams aren't going to be doing that. Teams not going to be scheming like that for a guy like Monte Ellis, albeit he can score, but it's going to be different. Um, he's only a 31% 3-point shooter. Plus, he didn't take many threes. He was not a good 3-point shooter. Monte Ellis, good scorer, but not a good 3-point shooter. Plus, if I recall correctly, Monte Ellis sort of started breaking down by the time he was 30 years of age. Injuries, if I'm not mistaken. So, from a timeline perspective, what he's saying doesn't really make a lot of sense. Matter of fact, let me see something. Monte Ellis. Let's check something out here. Monte Ellis' best season was 2010, 25.5, then he averaged 24.4. And then came the injury-riddled season, 2011, 2012, 20. Then he went to Milwaukee, 19 points a game. And he was out the league by 2016-17 when he was 31 years old. 31 years old. He averaged 8.5 points per game that last year. So I can't even say that it was injuries. It's just his type of scoring. It fizzled out like the those Jerry Stackhouse, even though he's not as big as Jerry Stackhouse, but those volume scoring, chucking guards, they started falling out of favor. And another thing that's come to mind too is one of the things that made KD so potent with the Warriors is because Steph Curry was constantly getting doubled. Even when you look at the NBA Finals, KD was often wide open. KD was scoring in one-on-one situations because teams still had to double team Curry to keep him in check. If you got Monte Ellis out there, teams aren't going to be doing that. Teams aren't going to be doubling Monte. They're going to be doubling Kevin Durant. We know Kevin Durant seems to struggle with double teams. I mean, the history is there. We saw it with the Warriors. We saw it with the Boston Celtics. We saw it with this past series when he did play with the Rockets. We see it in any series, any game. When he's double teamed, he struggles. So I honestly don't know if you swap Monte Ellis with Steph Curry, if they win any goddamn championships. He's a good defender, but does Clay really thrive with him? Is Clay getting the same wide open looks? I don't think so. I mean, Clay's still gonna put up numbers, but prime Clay efficiency is gonna be down. So I don't know. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion, man. I think he's off base here. And I heard what Damian Lillard, what Jeff Teague said about Damian Lillard. I didn't want to be repetitive and just come out with another video with somebody saying some other stupid shit. Look, man, Dame Lillard is a great shooter when he's not in a pressure situation in a high stakes game. If it's a all-star game or if it's a three-point contest, when it's just him out there, yeah, he could be one of the great shooters of all time. But with the exception of that one fucking moment when he hit that damn near 40-foot three-pointer over Paul George, outside of that, Dame Lillard is not that dude. Dame Lillard tends to look. I had totally forgotten about this. What was it, 2019? What series was it when they were going against Golden State? I think Kevin Durant was actually hurt at the time before he tore his Achilles. And they got swept by the Warriors. And that's the same series that Steph Curry destroyed Dame Lillard. I think Steph averaged 36 points a game, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, or something like that. And every game, Portland had a 20-point lead in which that lead was evaporated. And they wound up losing badly in all those games. And not just that. Not only did Steph outplay Dame, not only did Steph and Clay outplay Dame, but Steph, Clay, and Draymond Green outplayed him in that series. Now, with Dame's reputation, plus we saw how he was when he played with Giannis, Dame is a loser to me, man. I'm sorry. It got to be said. Dame's a loser. Dame's the guy that always had a built-in excuse for why he didn't win in Portland. Everybody blamed the front office. He plays with a top 75 all-time player in Giannis. He played like shit for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Now he's going back to Portland where he's going to be playing with John Morant. If things don't go right, people going to blame John Morant. He's a loser. That's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.